Sheriff Todd Baxter, employees of the Miami County Sheriff's Office. District Attorney Sandra Doorley, employees of the Miami County District Attorney's Office. Alex Renzi, New York State Supreme Court. Paul C. Metzer, James J. Mullen Jr., Pampton Court. My name is Chris Chichester. I live in Rochester, New York. I've been in jail 6 times. 6 times a prosecutor's not talked in court. What are the names on prosecutors? District Attorney Sandra Doorley, Deputy District Attorney Perry Douglas, Director of Local Courts Elizabeth Buckley, Assistant District Attorney Mark Monahan, Director of the Grand Jury Michelle Crowley. Who is it? Tell me who it is. Your bosses look right at the Freedom of Information Law for 18 plus months for 3+ years that I'm going to read, demanding disclosure of the names of taxpayer-financed psychopaths that have sent me to jail without uttering one word in court. Who is it? There are 15 on here today, on this Friday, December 8th. I hope this will arrive before 9 a.m. on this Friday, December 8th. Who is it? And you public defender, Julie Sianka, and your $140,000 salary now. And you assistant public defender, Mark Phillips, and your $87,000 salary now. Insane is a word I use over and over and over when I'm on YouTube. Because it's insane for a district attorney to refuse to disclose the name of a prosecutor assigned to a court appearance for a defendant. Insane. And the district attorney of Monroe County doesn't know she's insane. That's not hyperbole, what I just said. I'm in court. I can see the likeness of the prosecutor. And then I can't see the likeness of the prosecutor because I have prosecutors that are also invisible that are sending me to jail. How ludicrous does that sound? Because I got a document from Alex Renzi that I held up recently that said further proceedings. The invisible prosecutor at your revolting Shank District Attorney's Office concocted this further proceedings, sent it to Alex Renzi. It was mailed to where my temporary residence is in Rochester, New York, and there I am in jail again. The invisible prosecutor at the District Attorney's Office did that to me. Is it you, Sandra Doorley, or not? Who is it on further proceedings? I held that document up again. I won't do that now. December 8th. Send it to me. I know it's going to be Friday. You can put it in the mail and arrive on Monday. Or cchichester4@gmail.com. That's my email on here. 813-648-4441. That's my iPhone. Any number of ways you can contact me. 813-648-4441. You can call me on the phone. Assistant Public Defender Mark Phillips. You can tell me on the phone. I prefer to have it in writing because when I contact the United States Department of Justice, I'll be able to say this is a document at the District Attorney's Office in Rochester, New York, and this is my prosecutor. Because the Appellate Division of State Supreme Court is when an attorney to the spot. That's why I'm demanding names. And I also want to humiliate them. Because once I have their names at the District Attorney's Office, then I can use a card that's registered mail return receipt, like this one here, the one to Sandra Doorley. That's Sandra Doorley's name right there. This is 6 months ago. I'm demanding names of my prosecutors. Over and over and over. I think I have 40 cards with her name on it alone. I have 40 cards with your name on it alone. Todd Baxter. Who is it? Tell me who it is. Prosecuting me in total silence. My 50th birthday, July 4, 2015, I had a speeding ticket in my place of employment in Albany, New York, speeding ticket in my place of employment in Washington, D.C. Both dismissed in court. After I'm 50, I've been in jail 6 times because it's a corrupt psychopath cop concocting a crime for me. It's a corrupt psychopath assistant district attorney who remained silent in court. It's a corrupt psychopath judge who doesn't know the facts, circumstances, or anything. Because I said to the exalted one, Alex Renzi, my exact words to Alex Renzi about $73,000 perjurer Michael Lewin and lied, said I swung a hammer on my back porch in Penfield. My exact words to him, you know nothing. And the exalted one, and his $210,000 salary in there with 25% of the vote, Alex Renzi, doesn't correct me. So, who is it? $73,000 Michael Lewin, $85,000 Don Benedetto, Sheriff Todd Baxter to walk onto the private property of an 80-year-old neighbor. You employees at District Attorney's Office, those names I mentioned, is it legal for the cops to lie and wait on private property? There are a number of questions I have that I know you refuse to answer, but you can answer. Can the cops walk onto private property and lie and wait? Perry Douglas, Mark Monahan, Elizabeth Buckley, Michelle Crowley. What's the answer? Mark Phillips, you can call me and tell me. Because unlike those names I just mentioned, I've never had any contact communication with them. But you, Mark, and I have talked repeatedly. Who is it? For your information, documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester and Pampton Court for John P. Mentor Jr. was the name of the prosecutor. District Attorney Sandra Doorley, freaking sociopath, delivered me to Monroe County Jail for this revolting 7-year-old fossil who freed accused child predator Daniel last Thursday right here. What's the name of the freaking sociopath? Is this Julie Hahn or is this not Julie Hahn? Because in this online magazine, Rochester Woman, I saw a profile of her where she was called a true superwoman, where there are facts and circumstances about her life that she had to overcome that are extremely impressive. So I don't know if this is Julie Hahn or not, but you do at the district attorney's office, and you do at the public defender's office. And whoever this is, if it's still on the payroll, which I have right here, tell me who it is. And you'll refuse because you're lunatics. That's why. Freedom of Information Law. Documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester in Penfield Court before Paul C. Messer. What is the name of the prosecutor? That's her name right here. This $28,000 bald-headed widow. The freaking sociopath that sent me to Livingston County Jail and Monroe County Jail is right here. Who is it? You refuse to tell me those names at the district attorney's office and public defender's office because you're lunatics. So the exalted one, a graduate of the illustrious Emory University School of Law in Atlanta, Georgia, he had to go 1,000 miles away to get his degree, which I said to him. So who is it who forced me into him with further proceedings? I would be in Albany, New York, where I lived in the city for 5 years and the county for 10 years. If I didn't get that further proceedings document, I would have moved. Because he wants to examine the contents of my head. What is 730? Why do you think I'm free? These 730s can be manipulated and abused. And when I contact the Office of Mental Health, Department of Health, and the Federal Department of Health and Human Services in Washington, D.C., I'm going to go into detail about how it was abused for me. So who is it? So, documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester, Alex Renzi, New York State Supreme Court. What is the name of the prosecutor? District Attorney Sandra Doorley, freaking sociopath who further proceedings me with a document is right here. You refuse to tell me the name of the freaking sociopath because you're lunatics. It's that simple. Lunatics. So, I have 15 here, but I have been on here with as many as 70. The sick, disgusting hack, John P. Lomenzo Jr. released Daniel Last III. You know who he is at the district attorney's office. It's an Armitel Luster, which is off 5 Mile Line in Penfield. That's where DeLouse was seen trying to, I think, solicit children. He's doing something that was really abnormal, where the neighbors were constantly alarmed about him. Well, Lomenzo doesn't recuse himself from the case of Daniel DeLouse III, even though he knows the family, and it was a Democrat Chronicle story where he admits he knows the family. So I want to see these defective documents. That's his language in the Democrat Chronicle. This gets Lindsay Mountain in Monroe County Office of Mental Health in my residence. This exact fool I drop off at 1985 Bed Road, there she is with the sheriff's office. I'm demanding public information. I'm exercising my First Amendment right. This revolting 6-star chamber in the person of John P. Lomenzo Jr. refused, and you're going to refuse now, Paul C. Lomenzo James Jr., and then they call the sheriff's office. When I exercise my First Amendment right, demand this information, and the sheriff's office is in my driveway with his mental health bureaucrat, that's one less sheriff's office employee to be on the violent streets of Rochester, New York. This is why Todd Baxter is a lunatic. Freedom of Information Law. The, quote, defective documents end quote for the case of Daniel DeLouse III and Penfield Court with John P. Lomenzo Jr. Do you understand, Paul C. Messer and James P. Lomenzo Jr.? I will acquire these documents. You'll just be forced to sentence me. Or the individuals I contacted the Department of Justice, like Deputy Attorney General Lisa Monaco and Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights Kristen Clark, can say to you, send those documents to the Department of Justice. You going to refuse the Department of Justice? I won't be surprised if you did. You going to refuse the Office of Court Administration? I will contact the Office of Court Administration about that Penfield Town Court. You employees at the District Attorney's Office can redirect defendants away from these two hacks and fossils and sociopaths who are not there mentally to provide a fair hearing. But you love the fact that it's assembly line of guilt in that Penfield Town Court. Guilty, 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 guilty. I have not looked at that list of defendants yet, Paul C. Metro and James P. Jr., but I will. Everybody's guilty. Is that true? I'm going to send you a separate Freedom of Information Law. You lunatics in Penfield Town Court, $28,000 bald-headed widow, Paul C. Metro, $34,000 James P. Jr. I want to see when you acquitted someone. Same thing happened to my friend Adam in Penfield when he appeared for John P. Lomenzo Jr. There he is, the defendant scale. Prosecutor doesn't talk in court. Lomenzo just declared him guilty, and he was in Monroe County Jail. It's not easy to be in jail. This room, this Penfield Town Court, is defined by hatred for the human condition. And so are you with the District Attorney's Office, Sheriff's Office. So, Grand jury, Michelle Crowley. How many times do I have to demand this? August 23rd, I sent the same file to you. Michael Julian Don Benedetto hit on the private property of my neighbor. They ran at me in the middle of the night. When I get to my back porch, I grab a hammer. Julian grabs my arm. The hammer goes up like this and ran through the sliding glass door. I never stopped running. Michael Julian now has to come up and lie. And what this Jonestown Kool-Aid drinker does is go to you, Michelle Crowley, and say, I swung a hammer at him when the body camera footage played for me by Regina Harper, the public defender's office, showed him rolled. I ran the whole time. Why don't you just call me to the grand jury, Michelle Crowley? Why don't you call me to the district attorney's office for an interview? These questions I'm asking you are not rhetorical questions I'm asking you, and then that's the end of it. You can watch me. It's when I pursue your disbarment, Michelle Crowley, I'll say to the appellate division, whoever it is that can disbar you, that you're refusing to answer. And you're going to refuse to answer this here on this December 8th. Answer me, Michelle Crowley, because it's in your best interest. I guarantee it's in your best interest to answer me. And you don't know that because you're a lunatic, Michelle Crowley. For information about grand jury can meet my district attorney, Sandra, Doorley, 2 Todd, Christopher Chichester, that's 1. Day, month, and the grand jury is convened to each signed district attorney's office employee to address the grand jury. 3. The witnesses that testified to the grand jury. 4. The vote of the grand jury. 5. A transcript of the grand jury proceeding. It was only when Regina Harper called me on the phone and said you've been indicted. I sat there frozen in my residence in Penfield. And I'm thinking, how am I indicted when I don't know the grand jury's convened? Because you can indict a ham sandwich, that's why. If a distinguished American like former Secretary of Defense Caspar Weinberger can be a ham sandwich, anybody can. If the President of the United States can be a ham sandwich, anybody can. So, Michelle Crowley, I'm particularly interested in the vote. Hypothetically, if there's 24, am I indicted when I'm an innocent man, 13 to 11? And answer me. You could also answer me, Public Defender Julie Sianka. You could also answer me, Assistant Public Defender Mark Phillips. Did you ever go to Rascals, Mark? Swing Fronia or Sonny's? I don't know if they still exist. So, Richard J. Seaman walked into Penfield Public Library because his $28,000 bald-headed widow was one person. Paul C. Metz can convene Penfield Town Court. District Attorney's Office is not present when this happens to me. Paul C. Metz is in Penfield Town Court when this is about to happen to me. And I don't know, Public Defender Julie Sianka and Mark Phillips, the Assistant Public Defender, that my public defender is waiting for me. I'm supposed to be in Penfield Town Court, but I don't know it. Richard J. Seaman, when this happens to me, is staring at my front door. It's the last time I leave my residence of 8 years, 26 Sanders, from driving Penfield. Richard J. Seaman evicted me. And so did you, Paul C. Metzer, and you, Todd, Baxter, Sandra, Doorley. But this is the driving force reason why I'm going to be evicted. This psychopath cop, Richard J. Seaman, drove over to my residence, just staring at my door. Where's my due process? Does due process matter, Elizabeth Buckley, Director of Local Courts? Because this is not due process what's going to happen to me. I'm leaving my residence. Stephen's staring at my door, the $75,000 violent freak. I walk down Penfield Road, I walk to Bad Road, I walk into the library. The whole way, Richard J. Seaman, his psychopath partner, followed me, stalked me, tracked me. For how briefly that is. And this is what happened to me. He ran at me, slammed his arm at the side of my head. I fell backwards, my head hit ceramic tile. I do not know how an assistant district attorney evaluates a violent attack on someone. Because it's the force of his arm hitting me in the head. So that's violence. And then when I fell backwards, my head hit ceramic tile. So that's violence. And then his partner kicked me. And since I'm not an attorney, and I don't pretend to be an attorney, and I'll say that over and over, I believe those are multiple crimes there in that attack. It's not just him, it's a violent assault, and that's only it. The force of his arm hitting my head hitting the tile, and then being kicked on the floor. I think those are 3 different crimes right there, and I could be incorrect. But you know what, Mark Phillips? You could tell me if I am correct. So, I have money in my pocket. That's $61.39. The issuance of a new check to Christopher Chichester, Jazz, blowing expired check, the amount of $61.39, accounting Monroe Officer Chevrolet May Fund account. That's the dollar amount of the pocket of Chichester, made violently tapped by 7594, Richard J. Seaman, the Mountain County Sheriff's Office. That happened to you, Perry Douglas? I guarantee you want justice for yourself. So my little $600 apartment, I hope there's not some freak knocking on the door, some freak out here screaming. Freaks all over Rochester, New York. Unlike Washington, D.C., where I live next to the United States Capitol, at 11 C Street, where I live next to the New York State Capitol, and Albany, 8th Street. There's no freaks everywhere. They are everywhere in Rochester, New York. So I hope I can be undisturbed here, now that I'm on here 14 minutes. But this is a bang on the door. That's going to be a freak. So, this is sexual harassment at the district attorney's office, sheriff's office. Sexual harassment is a man asking a woman out on a date over and over. She's under siege with no. Sexual harassment is lewd, vulgar, vile language, oftentimes laden with misogyny that makes it impossible to focus and concentrate in the office. Sexual harassment destroys the soul. And it's covered by Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Elizabeth Buckley, if you have been sexually harassed at the Monmouth County District Attorney's Office. Michelle Crowley, if you have been sexually harassed at the Monmouth County District Attorney's Office. Rachel Clark, the royal prosecutor of Adriel Rowell and Xavier Perry, you have been sexually harassed at the District Attorney's Office, as you understand the term. Because men and women have different ways to define this. So, tell me what the answer is. This is why she's corrupt. I've been writing this for 18 months. So, December 8th. The cost of taxpayers. This is Todd Baxter here. And I'm going to show you someone who I believe is engaged in this type of behavior that I've just stated. The cost of taxpayers, Monmouth County Sheriff Todd Baxter expended taxpayers on employment-related discrimination lawsuits failed to comply with Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. I'm absolutely confident this violent freak, Richard J. Sieben, engages in this type of behavior. Absolutely confident. I have no doubt that Richard J. Sieben is a sexual predator at the Monmouth County Sheriff's Office. What do you think about what I just said, Kathleen Miller? Are you related to Andrew Miller at $77,000? Another thing that Thomas B. DiNapoli can't uncover. And is Camille Miller your daughter at $12,000? Thomas B. DiNapoli in the control state and all can uncover the state of sexual harassment. I believe that this Richard J. Sieben is just the type of animal that's engaged in this predatory behavior at the sheriff's office. And it can be done on email, too. It can be done any number of ways. If he's violently attacking me like he did, like I have stated, at the Pembroke Public Library, I'm absolutely confident that he's engaged in that type of behavior. So, bringing more information law this December 8th, the cost of taxpayers, Monmouth County District Attorney Sandra Doorley expanded taxpayer also employment-related discrimination lawsuit failed to comply with Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. So, here's the payroll for the District Attorney's Office. On the payroll here is Matthew Sorts, 135, and Perry Douglas, 144, and Nancy Gilligan, 118. So, those three employees I mentioned, I'm confident have never been the victims of what's commonly called sexual harassment, especially Nancy Gilligan at $118,000. But there's a difference between Nancy Gilligan at $118,000 and Michelle Bowen Richardson at $64,000. Because that $55,000 difference in pay will give Nancy Gilligan more power within the office. The more money you make in the office, the more power you have in that office, and you can fend off a sexual harassment predator. So, Denise Capone is only paid $44,000, so she had limited power in an office. And as far as the predatory behavior of a sexual harassment psychopath, Denise Capone is more vulnerable to it. You should know what I'm talking about, you freaks and sociopaths at that revolting shack. So, what's the answer here? And you know who knows the answer for sure? Because I know I'm not talking to the District Attorney of Monroe County. The District Attorney of Monroe County knows the answer for sure. Has there been a settlement with tax dollars for what's commonly called sexual harassment or not? What's the answer? This is why she's corrupt. So, it's the most important law of the 20th century. Cost taxpayers, Monroe County District Attorney Sandra expended taxpayer dollars on employment-related discrimination laws for failure to comply with Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. The most important law of the 20th century that you studied in law school. Public defender Julie Sianka, assistant public defender Mark Phillips, Perry Knuckles, Elizabeth Buckley, Michelle Crowley, Mark Monahan at the District Attorney's Office. You studied this law. And are you in compliance with this law? Is the District Attorney of Monroe County compliance with this law? She'll refuse to answer because she's a lunatic. The lunatic District Attorney will refuse to answer. She's looked right at this and refused to answer. So, overtime, time and a half, you double your salaries. Rachel Clark, when you prosecuted Adriel Rowell and Xavier Perry, you just making the standard amount of money at the District Attorney's Office. The heroic Rachel Clark played $124, $216. Did you just work the 40-hour standard week, an extra salary? Rachel Clark, $124, $216, or because of prosecuting Xavier Perry and Adriel Rowell, who set Stephen Amenhouse on fire, did you exceed $200,000? There's nothing wrong with that either. I believe that overtime is abused at the District Attorney's Office, and that's why she's refusing to comply with it. I believe every one of these six-figure employees right here on this page, six figures, first page, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. 25 employees on the first page of district attorney's office payroll make $100,000 salary. That's not the gold standard salary it used to be. It's still a hell of a lot of money. How many of these employees are paid overtime? How many of these employees can double their salaries? She's refused to answer. This is why she's a lunatic. So, total cost of overtime, time and a half, how paid beyond base salaries, calculated the Montgomery Sheriff's Office, Todd Baxter, and the total cost of overtime, time and a half, how paid beyond base salaries, calculated at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office of Sandra Doorley. So that's overtime, time and a half. This is the Sheriff's Office payroll. Here, one of his six-figure employees is $155,000 Corey Brown. Sheriff Todd Baxter, can $155,000 Corey Brown be paid $200,000 or more? Or not? What's the answer? With overtime. You, Sheriff Todd Baxter, violated the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act of 1996 passed by my former employers, the United States Senate, United States House of Representatives, when you gave my health records to Paul C. Metzler, because Paul C. Metzler knows where I was on Elmwood Avenue when I wasn't examined by a doctor, and then when Dr. Jeremy Smith did examine me, I'm released. You're obliterating me with these centers, I'll call them, because I have stated the name, and I'm not going to do that now, by just driving me over to them. Because I was in one also north of Syracuse, where again you just drove me over there. How's this explained? When I contacted the Department of Health, the Office of Mental Health, Federal Department of Health and Human Services, you gave my private health care records to Paul C. Metzler because Paul C. Metzler stated the name of his place on Elmwood Avenue because she wants to humiliate me when I'm right in front of her as a defendant scale. When the prosecutor's not present that day, she asked me if I was at this place on Elmwood Avenue because you gave her my private health care records. And how is this possibly explained? It can't be explained. You'll just remain silent. And you refuse you even did this. Paul C. Metzler, how do you have my health care records? How do you know I was on Elmwood Avenue? It's because Todd Baxter delivered them to you. That's why. For your information, a copy of the private health care records delivered to $28,000 Penn Court Judge Paul C. Metzler by Sheriff Todd Baxter in violation of Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act of 1996. Passed by my former employees, United States Senate, United States House of Representatives. When I would go to hearings in the House Judiciary Committee, the full committee, occasionally the topic of health care records would come up and the members would have a colloquy where they'd be talking to each other about health care records. How is this explained? It can't be explained. Just like this can't be explained. I don't care if this is a private event. Is this tax dollars or not? Underwater in a pool. For your information law, December 8th. The cost of photography session approved by Montgomery Sheriff Todd Baxter, photo of 10 Montgomery Sheriff's Office employees underwater in a pool. Is this tax dollars or not? Again, when I contact Thomas B. DiNapoli, I'll have a series of either bullet points or questions where in this bullet point here, I will state that you took a picture of your Monroe County Sheriff Office employees underwater in a pool. Then I'm going to suggest the questions for Controller Thomas P. DiNapoli to ask you, like, where's the pool? Is this taxpayer dollars? This is why you're corrupt. This is why you're a lunatic. Lunatic. The lunatic sheriff of Monroe County takes a picture of his employees underwater in a pool or approves it. And then when I'm demanding the expenditure of taxpayer dollars, his response to me is, it's a private event. This is why he's a Jonestown Kool-Aid drinker. Jonestown Kool-Aid drinker can be defined different ways. I've always defined it as someone who's alienated from the truth. You're all alienated from the truth at the District Attorney's Office, Sheriff's Office, Public Defender's Office. As these 15 Freedom of Information Law documents I hold prove. Because you're going to refuse to comply with every single one. That's why. And then when I send them to your offices, and Todd Baxter looks right at it, if in fact he opens his mouth, and Sandra Doorley looks right at it, she'll refuse. I'm on here. There are different ways for me to communicate this and where I'm demanding this information from you. On YouTube, we can see me. You read the Freedom of Information Law attached to PDF. Then when I print it out and go to Patrick's printing, he gives me the packet. Then I send it to you, and the district attorney and sheriff look at it. They refuse. That's why you're lunatics. So, this is really lunatic fringe. I'm walking through this parking lot for the 4,000th time. You haven't arrested this neighbor I shot for falsely reporting an incident. Why not? You haven't arrested his mother. Because it's different ways that these two can be arrested that I've talked about before. There's two of my neighbors right here. Can you see them? You should be able to see them right next to my finger while I'm communicating with you with the official finger of Brooklyn, New York. The accusatory issue for me is walk through the parking lot. There's two of my neighbors. I've walked through this parking lot 4,000 times. Shannon Meyer, Todd Baxter's $83,000 freak in the sheriff's office thinks I'm New York's 4,000-time criminal. Because the warrant for my arrest states that I was walking through this parking lot, but not anybody else. Not the elderly woman across the street from me. Not my friend Adam. Not Penfield High School students in Atlantic Valley. When I was already out of jail and sitting on my couch and not allowed to walk through this parking lot because I would be arrested again. Penfield High School students in Atlantic Power walking through it all day long. 20 people walk through this parking lot a day beginning at 7 a.m. until midnight. In the darkened night at 11 o'clock, past midnight, see people walk through this parking lot from where I can sit at my residence. Dan Rothschild looks at them every single time, and every single time doesn't go to the sheriff's office. It's the very definition of false reporting incident. And it's not a crime to walk outside, stand right here and say nobody owns the land, walk back on my rights. That's criminal contempt. Listen to me, you bald-headed, beanie Mussolini, fucking psychopath, and lunatic Todd Baxter. It's not a crime to walk outside here, say nobody owns the land, and walk back on my rights. That's not a crime. So, when I walked out there and said that's not a crime, I walked in. You take me downtown, handcuffed me inside a bathroom. I urinated on myself, and then the Monroe County Sheriff's Office employee came to me with this gruesome smile. He had his phone in his hand, and that's how I know my right arm is moving like this. I'm saying to Steve Desert and Brock Coltrane, I don't care. Nobody owns this land right here. Because I already talked to Timothy Murphy, the Monroe County Office of Real Property Tax Service, and he can't confirm it. The desperation of this freak to arrest me. Using civilians. How often do you use civilians, Sheriff Todd Baxter? So, then he showed me on his phone the video image of me. And I'm going to show that picture here too. And then I use the phrase surveillance device, and again, you're calling this Lindsey Barron on me, the Monroe County Office of Mental Health. When you freaks and sociopaths and lunatics at the sheriff's office don't know what I know. This is what I know. Freedom of information. The cost of surveillance device purchase for taxpayer dollars and fixed to a building in 2025 Penfield, demanded for Richard charges 2600 Drive, Penfield, New York, walks through the parking lot next to the building, and that's the lunatic fringe. The lunatic fringe. You hate human beings. It's right here. How many times do I have to demand? It's right there. Gina Harper, assistant public defender, who I think is no longer at the public defender's office, sent me the images. And then on this day here, which is January 16th, I'm telling you, Todd Baxter, Sheriff 130 South Plymouth Avenue, Rochester, New York. This photograph is why I'm a fanatic. This photograph is why I'm extremist. This photograph is why I'm a liar. This photograph is why I know the name is $67,000 disgusting at Shannon. This photograph is why people hate the police. Trinity Ross, Paul C. Metzer, James Money, Jr., Mark Phillips, Harper, Perry Douglas, Michael Riley, copy too. She's now paid $83,000. Just why Todd Baxter's a lunatic. Does not matter because this freak obliterates me with that parking lot. $16,000 raise. I went right to her name when I acquired the payroll again. I thought she was going to get a raise. I was really surprised at it being $16,000. And I shouldn't have been. You got your contract for your weapons. This is the last one. The weapons are not sent to you for free, Sheriff Todd Baxter. You have a contractor, you have a party, you have a vendor that sends you the weapons. Again, when I contact Controller Thomas P. Napoli, I'm going to send him this for a copy of this right here, where I suggest to the Controller of the State of New York that he order you. So, tell me what the answer is. And send me the contract. He will look right at this when it arrives in his office. In fact, he opens his mail and refuses. This is why he's a lunatic. Contract signed by Sheriff Todd Baxter to purchase firearms from Monroe County Sheriff Office Police to include 1, the name of the firearms contract, 2, the number of firearms purchased, 3, the total amount of taxpayer dollars to purchase firearms. So you got everything. All 15 you have here. And what's going to happen when I send that? This is what's going to happen. This is him returning this to me last week. This is my envelope. My envelope that I wrote, refused. The criminal complaints are in here. For Richard J. Seidman, for Layla Kumar and A-Rod Shah, for Antonio Spano, this 80-year-old man locking me out without a quarter, for my ex-girlfriend Laura Rod taking all my things to a storage locker, for Michael Houlihan. He will concoct crimes for me. This bald-headed Benito Mussolini lunatic concoct crimes for me, and then he will ignore real crimes. So the real crimes. July 15th, this is why it doesn't matter to him. This did arrive in his office. The green card came back to me. This is because of Paul C. Metzer. This is Rich J. Stevens, July 15, 2023. Todd Baxter loves violence. Todd Baxter is in the embrace of violence. The sheriff of Monroe County approves of his employees being violent psychopaths in a library. Todd Baxter, July 15, 2023. Sheriff 137 Plymouth Avenue, Rochester, 14604. The violent psychopath employee 75904 Richard J. Seaman stalked me at the Pembroke Public Library. I stood up at the computer terminal. Seaman ran at me, slammed his arm to the side of my head. I fell backwards. My head hit ceramic tile floor. This violence is irrelevant to you. You embrace violence because you felt psychopathic criminal will not be fired. When I write a criminal complaint, they'll have details of assault by Seaman. He will not be arrested or prosecuted. Nothing will happen to your taxpayer subsidized sociopath that must undergo immediate mental health evaluation. He will attack the other innocent citizens. Did you order Seaman to stalk me into the library? Were you informed about his disgusting predatory behavior? Did you have no knowledge about his fanaticism? You refused to answer. Resign. Christopher Childs, 620 Park Avenue, PMBM 361 Rochester, 14604. Copy 2, Trinity Ross, Sandra, Doorley, Judy, Sianka, Mark Phillips, Alex Renzi, Perry Dockles, Paul C. Mitchell, James Tony Jr. Doesn't matter to the District Attorney of Monroe County that this is a violent psychopath cop at all. And I'm swearing that he's a violent psychopath cop. Again, on January 26th, I was on YouTube just about him, violence, Richard J. Seaman here, the 4 links, the perjurer, Michael Houlihan's on there too. So, the criminal complaint for him. On July 22nd, he has been arrested, fired. Nothing's going to happen to him. I'll be in jail for telling a man on his tractor, nobody owns the land next to my residence, walking in back into my residence here. Well, that's not a crime. I'll be in jail for that. He slams his arm at the side of my head. Well, I fell backwards and my head ceramic tile. Nothing's going to happen to him. Richard J. Seaman attached to 4 criminal complaints with this language. The Richard J. Seaman, Montgomery Sheriff's Office, walked in Pembroke Public Library, Pembroke, New York, ran into Christopher Childs, slammed his arm at the head of Childs, causing him to fall backwards and hit his head on the ceramic tile. This is the criminal complaint right here. That's my handwriting, what I just wrote. Excuse me, what I just said. And this is me swearing on this July 21st that he did this to me. And it doesn't matter to you. Freaks sociopaths at the Sheriff's Office. Name Rush Shot, Layla Kumar Shot, 2033 Penfield Road, falsely reporting an incident Christopher Childs sister, formerly 26 Sandra from Drive, and walked through his parkland next to his residence. So this is me swearing that this is falsely reporting an incident by Layla Kumar and Name Rush Shot, this 50-year-old freak Elizabeth, 70-year-old mother right here. You understand, employees? Falsely reporting an incident. It's not a crime to walk through that parkland. When Name Rush Shot goes to the Sheriff's Office, the man died be arrested, but not anybody else. Where's my 14th Amendment right to protection laws? This is a crime. To go to the Sheriff's Office and report this as a crime, demand I be arrested, that's a crime by him. And you don't know this at the District Attorney's Office. Well, in 3 years of law school, you do not understand what I just said. So, the criminal complaint that you ignore, because it doesn't matter to you. That there are criminals in Monroe County. You ignore criminals in Monroe County. And then I'm going to be a concocted criminal. Antonio Spano, Fairport, New York, locked the front and back doors of residence 26 Sanders Farm Drive in Penfield, New York, without a court order. You need a court order, even without a lease. I lived 5 years in Albany, New York, without a lease. 5 years in Washington, D.C., without a lease. Tenants with a lease have nearly the same protections as tenants without a lease. Here is my handwriting, what I just read about him. This is a crime. And it doesn't matter to you freaks and sociopaths that this old man is a criminal. I own nothing, possess nothing. My BA from the State University of New York at Stony Brook is gone. My dress greens from the 2nd Squadron 17 Cavalry is gone. My Army Commendation Medal is gone. My Army Achievement Medal is gone. My Air Assault Badge is gone. My 10-day graduate of U.S. Army Air Assault School. My father's dresser he gave me from when he was a child in Brooklyn is gone. My running shoes are gone. My bikes are gone. My rowing machine is gone. My clothes are gone. My couch is gone. My television's gone. And it doesn't matter to you this old man obliterated me. With the assistance of my ex-girlfriend, who's refusing to tell me what happened. We live in 3 different residences. And I'm telling her at first, she's telling me what happened. She's refusing every time because she wants a bookcase. Law arrived, Webster, New York, transported the personal belongings of Christopher Childs, 26 Sanders Farm Drive, Penfield, New York, to a storage locker in Webster, New York, without a court order. It's a crime. You don't know what crime is, the Sheriff's Office and District Attorney's Office, because you're lunatics. That's why. So, this is me swearing that she did this. I own nothing to have nothing because of her, who I've known for 35 years. So this is my signature, Laura Riley, Webster, New York, took everything out of my residence without a court order. And she left my books in the residence. Because in the storage locker, when I went to the storage locker with Lori Pepper Lisiski, United States Department of Veterans Affairs, my books are not in there. What that means, Laura, if you watch him, he's Antonio Spano threw away my books. Employees of the Sheriff's Office and District Attorney's Office. This old man, 80-year-old Anthony Spano, Fairport, New York, threw away my 1,000 books. It doesn't matter to me. Just like it doesn't matter to you. This is a nightmare cop-free perjurer involved in the death of a human being. The Attorney General had to investigate. And Todd Baxter doesn't take his weapon from Michael Houlihan, and Michael Houlihan walks onto the private property of my neighbor, and this is the night he becomes a perjurer. The 73-212 Michael C. Houlihan, the Mount County Sheriff's Office, walked onto the private property called Renzi, 2600 from John Pemp, New York. Christopher Chichester, Houlihan ran at Chichester approximately 1 a.m. with $85,000 Benedetto, the Sheriff's Office. The Chichester ran away from Houlihan and Benedetto, wanted their identities. The Chichester grabbed the hammer alongside the residence next to his bike, used to fix the bike's tire. As Chichester placed his foot on the first of 3 steps on the back porch, Houlihan grabbed his arm, the hammer. Chichester's hands forced upward, and Chichester ran across the back porch, sliding glass door, and Chichester never stopped running. It's impossible to swing the hammer. 73212 Michael Houlihan. Michelle Crowley, if you had me in front of the grand jury, I would have said right here, it's impossible to swing the hammer at Michael Houlihan. Tell me what happened, Michelle Crowley, and you're going to refuse. Michael Houlihan of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office is a perjurer. My name is Christopher Chichester. I live in Rochester, New York. I was in Livingston County Jail, Genesee, New York, because perjurer Michael Houlihan, lying under oath in a grand jury convened by director of the grand jury, Michelle Crowley, the Monroe County District Attorney's Office, when Michael Houlihan stated, I swung a hammer at him when it's impossible for me to swing a hammer at him when I ran the whole time, and his body camera footage shows I ran the whole time. So, Janice McNair, Office of Public Integrity. Patronage hired Janice McNair, returning his mail to me. Did you call County Executive Adam Bello, Sheriff Todd Baxter, and get this hack a job where he's a double dipper just like you? Thomas B. Napoli can force an answer from you. Julie Sianka, the public defender, what names I prosecute? Julie Sianka, you send it back to me. You're a lunatic. Mark Phillips, there's 200 plus documents in here. You send it back to me. What names I prosecute, Mark Phillips? You should tell me because you're a lunatic. Right here, Mark Phillips again. Another 200-page documents. Mark Phillips, what are the names I prosecute? I'm going to put this in the mail again. I'll get the same new envelope returned to me by Mark Phillips because $87,000 Mark Phillips knows the names I prosecute, can tell me the names I prosecute, and he will refuse because he's a lunatic. So, you have everything on this day, and you're going to comply with 0. So, the green card comes back to me from the District Attorney of Monroe County. While I'm demanding of her disclose the names of my prosecutors. It's not all the green cards from the District Attorney, but this green card, every time this green card here arrived at the District Attorney's office, then was sent back to me when it's signed by the District Attorney's office employee, I'm telling the District Attorney of Monroe County to tell me the names I prosecutors. District Attorney Sandra Doorley, what are the names I prosecutors? District Attorney Sandra Doorley, what are the names I prosecutors? District Attorney Sandra Doorley, what are the names I prosecutors? District Attorney Sandra Doorley, what are the names I prosecutors? District Attorney Sandra Doorley, what are the names I prosecutors? District Attorney Sandra Doorley, what are the names I prosecutors? District Attorney Sandra Doorley, what are the names I prosecutors? District Attorney Sandra Doorley, what are the names I prosecutors? District Attorney Sandra Doorley, what are the names I prosecutors? District Attorney Sandra Doorley, what are the names I prosecutors? District Attorney Sandra Doorley, what are the names I prosecutors? District Attorney Sandra Doorley, what are the names I prosecutors? District Attorney Sandra Doorley, what are the names I prosecutors? District Attorney Sandra Doorley, what are the names I prosecutors? District Attorney Sandra Doorley, what are the names I prosecutors? District Attorney Sandra Doorley, what are the names I prosecutors? District Attorney Sandra Doorley, what are the names I prosecutors? District Attorney Sandra Doorley, what are the names I prosecutors? District Attorney Sandra Doorley, what are the names I prosecutors? My name is Christopher Chichester. I live in Rochester, New York. I've been an innocent man my whole life.